I've had the pleasure and challenge recently of helping to teach my oldest child, my son, to learn how to drive. Wow, it brings back lots of memories of learning to drive myself as a adolescent. And it really forces you to think about how many things go into learning to drive. And my son and I were talking one day recently about all of the information that's communicated on the dashboard. Of course, more and more is being replaced with computer displays, but not just your speed and not just how many miles you've gone, but how much gas there is, what the oil temperature or pressure is, and those, red lights or alarm bells for serious problems to check, the infamous check engine light. Talking to him about this and looking at the dashboards on the car got me to thinking about an instrument panel for trademarks. I don't think there is one. I don't think there has been one. So I invented one. And you can see with the image that we've got here, and you can find more on my website at ericpelton.com. If you look under valuable resources and the visuals section, you'll find not only this trademark instrument panel visual, but dozens of other visuals that help express key brand and trademark concepts. But this one here I thought was really valuable because it expresses the spectrum issue from weak or dangerous names that are generic, descriptive slightly better, suggestive, pretty good, arbitrary, really good in terms of getting protection, and coined, meaning it's made up, the best, the most likely to be unique and fully, strongly protected. But the panel also displays your registration status. Hopefully you're in the green there as well with the circle R because you have a registration. If not, it's pretty good to have a pending application that's been filed. If you're in the red because you haven't filed yet and you don't have a registration, that's a cause for concern, just like if your car was about to be running on empty. And then at the bottom of the panel, you see 3 caution when lit items. Is your registration due for renewal? If so, that's a big red light. You want to make sure you address that as soon as possible. Do you have an infringement or multiple infringements that have been unchecked, meaning you haven't dealt with them, you haven't stopped them? That can really weaken or diminish your brand. And finally, are you using your mark improperly? Are you using it generically? Are you not expressing that it is a brand name of a product or service and that it is not a full-on category name? Now, of course, possible generic words, you've probably heard about Xerox and Kleenex and Popsicle fighting to avoid becoming legally generic because they have become so commonplace. And so, for example, Kleenex on the box will say Kleenex brand tissues to make it clear that you understand and that they're making an effort to show that Kleenex is a brand name and not the name of all types of tissues. But this can be a problem even for brands that are far less successful or well-known as those ones I've indicated. So you want to make sure you're not using your brand in a generic sense, no matter how big it is and no matter where you're using it. So you can measure your brand on the trademark instrument panel at any time. Make sure that you are hopefully on your way to being in the green or at least not in the red or the bad zones on the panel, and that you're aware of those caution lights. If you have any items to address on your instrument panel, you can, of course, reach out to me at ericpelton.com. And if you've enjoyed this podcast or this video, please leave us a review, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. It really helps me get feedback on which type of material resonates with viewers and listeners, and it helps others find our material as well so that we can keep spreading the word.